I have made it no secret that the upcoming Google Pixel Fold is my most anticipated new device coming in 2023, but that does not mean that it is launching without competition. There are going to be some other foldables coming, most notably the Galaxy Z Fold 5 will be launching shortly, we assume shortly after the Pixel Fold. In this video, I'm going to give you my top 8 things that the Pixel Fold must get right in order to properly compete with and even defeat the Galaxy Z Fold 5. So the first thing Google needs to get right is kind of a combination of two things. I'm kind of already cheating on this list. Maybe we could call it 9 things, I guess. But that thing is to, 1, launch before the Galaxy Z Fold 5, and 2, do it at a lower price. And we have some reasons to believe both of these things could actually happen. So the first thing we want to look at, this article from 9 to 5 Google, where apparently they were able to get some information from a retailer about when the Pixel Fold would be launching, and the leaker indicated it will be coming in June. Now, this would put it several months ahead of the Galaxy Z Fold 5. Now, part 2 of this involves a tweet from relatively reliable leaker Yogesh Brar, who actually tweeted March the 15th that the Pixel Fold could be priced between $1,300 and $1,500. This would bring it well below the expected price of the Z Fold 5, which should be, like usual, around that $1,800 price point. Both of these things would go probably the longest way of anything I'm going to talk about in this video towards giving Google a really big advantage, coming out at a cheaper price and before your competition, hoping that as many people as possible jump on your bandwagon and then don't have the $1,800 to buy your competitor's phone is a great place to start. We don't know for sure that this price is accurate. I feel pretty good about the date being June. Google I/O is in May, so they're going to show it off there, announce it, and then start shipping the thing in June. But like I said, the price may be slightly up in the air. We'd seen prior leaks or speculation saying maybe $1,700 or $1,800. Even Front Page Tech, who actually was one of the first people to, maybe the first person to leak the design of the device, expected $1,700 or $1,800. So again, take that part with a pinch of salt. But if they want to succeed, let's get that price down lower. So the second thing I think that Google needs to do to make the Pixel Fold a success and to actually be able to compete against the Galaxy Z Fold 5 is to make sure that this device has a really impressive hinge design, right? This thing is going to need to fold flat. It's going to need to have a fairly hard to spot crease, and it's going to need to have support of postures, okay? Because we do believe that the Fold 5 is going to finally have all of these things. As we all know, the current Fold devices have a crease that does not necessarily lend itself to being hard to spot. When light hits it at any sort of off-axis angle, that crease does become very visible. Apparently, that is going to be heavily addressed with the Fold 5. We also have heard speculation that the Fold 5 will indeed be able to fold fully flat, unlike the current Fold 4. And we already obviously have the ability with the Fold devices to have different hinge postures for flex mode and things like this. Some of the other foldable devices that have the less visible crease and have the ability to fold fully flat don't have this capability, and it's something that Google is going to need to copy. Now, obviously, just having the ability to stand up halfway folded isn't enough. You actually have to build the software to take advantage of flex mode. Like you just saw in that last clip, the camera app actually, when you fold it, splits itself into a flex view, which gives you your viewfinder on one side and your controls and your last taken photos on another side. These features are very, very useful. And I would argue that on a device that is shorter and wider, they're going to be even more useful on the Pixel Fold. It kind of could remind you a little bit of the way that Surface Duo works when you're spanning an application. For instance, the camera app on Duo, when it is spanned, has a full screen there to show you the last taken photos. Google needs to do stuff like that with the Pixel Fold. Now, the next thing is something that I actually don't think the Pixel Fold is going to have, but a lot of people are going to miss it if they're moving from the Galaxy devices to the Pixel Fold, and that is the ability to use a stylus. Obviously, with the Z Fold 3, Samsung introduced the ability to use their S Pen. They actually made an S Pen specifically for this device, and while it's not something that I use literally ever, it is something that a lot of people do use, and I see this asked all the time. Maybe it's because a lot of my audience are Surface Duo users and Z Fold users. They're both used to having a pen. A lot of people ask, will the Pixel Fold have stylus capabilities? I don't believe it's going to. But if Google wants to compete with Samsung, it might be something that they're going to need to consider going forward. However, it would be really hard for them to do, because to do this, you need a newer screen technology than what is rumored to be used in the Pixel Fold. Now, that may have changed later in development, but last we heard, this was the case. We also have to contend with the fact that Samsung has had years to build up a suite of features, tools, software to utilize that pen that Google would be starting fresh on. What about the camera system? We have seen the Pixel 6 and Pixel 7 take some really big leaps forward in terms of the camera capabilities for the Pixel devices, and the Pixel Fold is going to need to carry that stuff forward, because the Z Fold 4 and then of course the 5, they're going to continue improving in this camera domain as well. The Fold 4 actually has a very solid camera. So there's a few things I'd love to see the Pixel Fold bring over to their camera system that I think would give them the edge. First off, on just standard primary photographic prowess, I think the Pixel Fold is already going to be just fine, because it's a Pixel and it's going to be able to do just fine with taking pictures. But I would love to see this thing have two specific features. One, I want to see them bring over the macro mode from the Pixel 7 Pro. I absolutely love that macro mode. It automatically switches over when you get really close to a subject, and you can get really close to a subject. It is awesome. Now, this next one's probably not going to happen, but I would love to see them bring over the Pixel 7 Pro's periscope telephoto zoom lens as well. Give me that 5x optical zoom, and oh man, I will absolutely have no reason to ever use another phone again. I don't think they're going to do it, but it would be really, really cool. But even if they're not able to do that, give us like a 3x optical that isn't a periscope. And then, here's the reality. When I've tested the 7 Pro against the S23 Ultra, at 10x, you would think that the 10x optical of the S23 Ultra would absolutely demolish the Pixel 7 Pro, since it's only 5x and then you're digitally zooming in from there, but it's not the case. The Pixel 7 Pro actually hangs so tough with that S23 Ultra, it's not even funny. So give us a 3x, if not the 5x, and have that incredible software to bridge the gap from there. So another place where Samsung is going to have a pretty big head start is in the world of multitasking. With the Z Fold devices, we have that taskbar down below. We have the little sidebar on the side where a sidebar logically should be. We have the ability to split screen not just 2 apps, but 3 apps, and have a 4th floating app. I believe that Google needs to do something similar with the Pixel Fold. That's what foldable devices, tablets are meant for. They're meant for multitasking. So if all we have are 2 app split screen with the taskbar we have seen built into Android 12L and forward, I don't believe that's going to be enough to bring over the really strong, true multitaskers of the world. The people who use the Z Fold because of the crazy multitasking that it can do, I don't think they will see that as enough to tempt them over. Another feature I would love to see Google actually implement is something that I've heard rumors that they are working on, and that is app cloning. We're talking about a tablet. We're talking about multitasking. Well, a built-in app cloner makes a ton of sense for these devices. Let's say you have a messaging app, but you have 2 accounts that you're triaging, a work account, personal account. Well, some of these let you switch back and forth between accounts, but how cool would it be to have just 2 versions of this app with the separate accounts, and you could even have them side by side using them both at the same time. I know that they're building in multi-window support into Google Chrome, but what about just having the ability to launch Chrome and then launch another Chrome straight away, not having to click on new window and all that stuff? There's lots of interesting ways that an app cloner could potentially make a lot of sense, and can make a ton of sense on a tablet, a foldable style device like the Pixel Fold. And like I said, there are some rumors that this is being experimented with for Android 14. Bring it to the Fold now. So the last one is one that might not be something that comes to your mind very quickly, but it is one that is extremely important. With the Z Fold devices, obviously you can have one layout for your cover display homepage and a separate layout for the internal screen's homepage. That is going to be absolutely necessary, but Samsung also bakes in some other cool features like the ability to basically clone your cover display home screen onto your tablet display, where basically your home screen on that cover display becomes the left half of your tablet home screen. And then you sort of have like a second page, if you will, on that tablet display. It's kind of hard to describe. It allows you to have sort of ubiquity between the two displays. Some people really like that feature, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. Google's going to have to make sure that the experience of having two separate home screens, two separate displays on this device with potentially two separate home screens makes sense, and that it allows people to use both of these home screens in a way that makes sense to them. Now, guys, I'm sure that there's more things you can think of that the Pixel Fold is going to need to do. Drop those ideas in the comments down below. Stay tuned for more coverage just like this, guys. Hit that subscribe button before you go to make sure you don't miss out on that content. I'll see you on the next one, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.